Like I always say, good phones are getting cheaper and cheap phones are getting better. There's another add-on to put up to this statement, the all-new Honor 7X. Starting off with the design, the device looks and feels premium. First of all, it's a full metal layered smartphone, which makes it pretty durable. The metal is well molded, which makes it feel like a single block of element throughout the smartphone. The front is dominated by a 5.93-inch display alongside with an 8-megapixel front camera. The phone is super sleek and measures only around 4.6 mm. The aluminum chassis gives a smooth matte finish and grip in spite of having curved edges. But one thing that I didn't like about most of the new releases this year is that these manufacturers following the Apple design. I'm so damn tired of seeing dozens of smartphones with the same looking design. Up from the device, you'll find that the top and the bottom bezels being quite thick, and that helps you from accidentally touching the screen with your palm, maybe while you're trying to reach one of the top corners on a single hand use. It also offers comfortness while playing games in landscape mode. On the right side, you can find the volume rocker and power button. The buttons are tactile and are easy to reach. And also on the back, you can find the fingerprint sensor, which is super fast. But I'm not really a fan of having a rad mounted fingerprint scanner because I always had hard time reaching it. And that's one reason I love the Honor 9. On the bottom edge, you tend to find the mono speaker grill, a micro USB port, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. There's nothing special about the speaker. It sounds pretty average. And yes, there is no USB-C port. This decision at this point feels a little bit backward, which means you might face slow transfer speeds and charging rate. The Honor 7X is the first mid-range device to cast a 18:9 ratio display to the market. Its predecessor, the Honor 9, which was released earlier this year, came up with a 16:9 ratio, and hey, it's still my daily driver. Of course, the unique selling point of this device could definitely be the 82.9% screen-to-body ratio. Everyone loves smartphones with big displays, and I must say, the one on the Honor 7X is a well-calibrated, beautifully layered display. It's a pretty impressive Full HD resolution of 2116 to 1080 with 408 pixels per inch. The LCD display is quite sharp, but the color seems pretty dull when compared to the other 408 ppi displays. The display has a maximum luminance of 417 lux. It isn't the brightest display out there, and even the sunlight visibility does suffer. The device comes with 2.36 GHz Kirin 659 octa-core processor coupled with 4 GB of RAM, and also the other variant comes with 3 GB of RAM and 32 GB internal memory. The device is also packed with a Mali T830 GPU, and I'm not gonna lie, the device is considerably a very good performing smartphone when compared to other players in the market that cost twice more than Honor 7X. I tested out Asphalt 8 and Riptide GP3. I didn't see any lag, but there were lows in frame rates during some heavy scenes. I'm not really a fan of custom ROMs because in most cases they do come with bloatware, and the user experience also isn't that great. But I really do like the EMUI and have been using that for more than a month now. It does offer you a lot of tweaks. Even though the ROM comes with bloatwares, it is really well optimized. The Honor 7X comes with Android 7.0 Nougat, that is EMUI 5.1, and I must say the ROM isn't that bad. The 18:9 screen ratio adds so much detail to the split screen mode. One supreme feature I love about the EMUI ROMs is that it has support for dual apps, which can be achieved using the App to End feature found in the settings menu. The Honor 7X comes with a dual camera setup, with one being a 16-megapixel camera and the other being a 2-megapixel camera. The photos shot in well-lit situations have been properly calibrated with color and contrast. But still, the low-light shots does struggle a little bit and are really prone to noise. Even though the device is up with the current trend of casting a dual lens, it isn't that impressive. The 2-megapixel lens is dedicated for depth sensing, which helps you to pull off some portrait mode shots by applying bokeh effect. And the impressive part is that even the front camera can pull off the same effect just with a single lens. That's majorly done with some software tricks. But if camera is your first concern, then I would recommend you to check out the Xiaomi Mi A1 because even the bokeh effects are super average on the Honor 7X. I've added few camera samples in a drive link on the description below. The battery on the Honor 7X isn't a game changer, but it does cast a fairly average 3340 mAh cell. Considering the huge screen and a Kirin 659 processor, the device did perform well in terms of battery life. I was able to get through a day with GPS, browsing and some gaming. Opting for a micro USB port is definitely a drawback, because the charging speed isn't that impressive. It took around a hour of charging time to reach from 0 to 50%. The one drawback that I felt was the loudness offered by the grill mono speaker, but Honor has covered this mistake by providing you a hiss audio enhancement to the Honor 7X. The algorithm tends to enhance your audio experience on headphones by offering you a 3D surround effect. Okay, to sum all that up, the Honor 7X has a beautiful tall bezel-less display, dual camera which is pretty average, it's not stock but still you're gonna love the EMUI, awesome build quality and definitely a killer pricing. In the league of big players like Samsung and Apple, these Taiwan and Chinese companies are doing so well in bringing the best of technology at an affordable price tag, which means good technology for anyone and everyone. Either way, thanks for watching. Yours truly Droid Sector, ours truly this life.